here we are, day 4 of Creation Vacation Bible School, but we're learning about day 5 of creation, right? So yeah, and fish are included with that, starfish and all the fowl of the air and the creatures of the sea, lots and lots of stuff. God was busy on day 5. Let's review our verse that we've been doing in sign language this week. So in, as you know, you have your little cup. You're going to put in. In the beginning, you hold out your palm and you pretend like you're turning in a key of the ignition. Beginning. And then God, it's just, we have flat palm up at the forehead, under your chin. God. And then created is kind of like you're playing with clay. Create. And then heaven, you're going to walk the stairway up to heaven in the sky. And is just pinching across. And then the earth is just a flat ground. You're going to take your middle finger and your thumb and rock it back and forth. Earth. So let's go ahead and sing it. First we'll sing it all together and then we'll do the echo. Okay, you ready, Alexis? Let's sing it together the first time. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Good singing. So hopefully you're starting to get a little more comfortable with all of those different sign language words and the song. The melody definitely is an easy melody to learn. So hopefully you've gotten pretty good at it. So we're going to review our days of creation. Day 1. Can you hold up your day 1? What did God create on day 1?
The light.
That's right. God made the light. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw that
it was good.
And the evening and the morning were the first day. Our next day, too. God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. So what did God make on day 2?
The water and the sky.
Well, the skies. The waters were already there. So he made the sky and he separated the waters from the sky. And the evening and the morning were the second day. Okay, now our day 3. So, and God said that he wanted the earth to bring forth grass and herb yielding after its seed and fruit after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And then yesterday, we wanted to kind of share how we finished ours up. So the watercolors were so thick in our nighttime sky, it took all day for them to dry. And then we actually just used glue and glitter for some moon and stars in the sky. But we noticed even after the paint was pretty dry, it was still just a little wet, and the glitter kind of wanted to stick all around, so I had to take a brush kind of and wipe it off. So ours are very, very thick, aren't they? So on day 4, God created the sun, moon, and stars. The greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. Now we're on our 5th day, and God sure was busy on the 5th day. He created all the fowl of the air and all of the creatures in the sea. And it's amazing how many different creatures there are, aren't there? So many different birds, so many different water creatures. And today in our watercolor painting, I'm going to need everyone's help to figure out which creatures should we paint in our water. What creatures should we put in our sky? So I'd like to hear of everyone watching, what are some of your favorites of both the underwater creatures and of the fish in the sky? And as you tell me those, we're actually going to start on getting our watercolors ready. So today we're basically using just the watercolors, but you do want some extra paper towel because we're going to be wanting to dry off our water so that you can have your paper vertical or horizontal. I'm actually going to keep mine vertical because I like how it really gives a lot of space for creating the birds and all the other fowl up here, and then also all the creatures in the water. We'll have lots of room for painting all of our creatures. So I'm going to flip us around and we're going to start on our watercolors. Oh, you know what, Alexis, can you go grab our paints or our paint brushes in the red cup over there, please? Oh, and lots of fish. The Martinez family mentions all the fish. There are definitely a lot of fish in the ocean for sure. So we'll have to see what color fish too. Do you guys have any favorite colors of your fish? That'll be fun. So we actually want a really, really light color because, ooh, an eagle. That'll be a fun one to figure out to paint.
And if you want to redo something on here, if you just add a little water to it, you can actually redo it.
You can, you're right. So you can always kind of add a little water to your watercolors even after they're done. But we want our watercolors to be really, really, really wet this first time. Oh, not right now. There's your little page over there for the water. So we're going to figure out my sky. I'm not going to make just a blue sky this time. I actually want to put some different colors in my sky. But since we really want it to be thin because it's just the background.
Wait, what are we drawing?
We're doing the sky at the top and the water at the bottom. Ooh, green fish. That's a good one. We've got a couple colors of green. So we're going to start with our sky. We're going to kind of go back from sky and water because we have to kind of let things dry in between. So we're starting off with our sky. And actually, you know what? You can wet your whole page, even the bottom water part. You can just get the whole thing wet for right now because we'll be painting them kind of back and forth. So now I've got my whole paper wet. My sky, I'm going to kind of make a sunrise sky. So I will put a little bit of blue in my sky, kind of in the tips here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of blue. And since I want it so light, I'm actually just going to dab on some colors and then I'm going to spread it out a little bit. So I want just a little bit of blue. You actually want to fill the whole thing with water. And then I'm going to put a little bit of pretty purple sunrise colors in. And we don't really have a good pink color. So I'm going to have to actually mix a lot of white.
That's more like it.
Yeah, so I'm going to put a lot of white down because I want a little bit of pink on my sky. So we're going to mix in that white. And we're going to add in just a little bit of red to make that pink. So now that I have all my colors here for my sky, now I'm going to blend them together. And kind of swirl them around because I just want a very faint, pretty sunrise in my sky. I might find I might want just a little bit more blue, but you really don't want too much color on your background because we still need to put all of the fowl of the air in the sky. Oh, good morning, Reeds. Oh, they're going to watch now and paint later. That sounds good. So I'm actually looking for some help with the creatures. So far we have some green fish we're going to put in the water, but I need help with knowing what creatures I should put, both the fowl of the air and the fish of the sea. And we're going to try to make lots of room for lots of creatures. So now my sky, I'm going to make it actually maybe just a little bit more blue in my sky. Not a lot of blue.
I actually found something that it's actually easier to do it if you paint it on it, if you put water on it and then you paint it out and then you also put water on it afterwards.
Right, so that gives it really light. So like look how light our sky is. So really, I'm going to put just a little bit of orange on it. Just to give it the sun look too. Then I'm going to dab it. So this time we're going to be using a lot of paper towel because we actually want a really dry background. So I'm going to kind of dab, especially that orange part. I only want just a very faint orange. So you kind of want to dab your watercolor so they're really, really dry. And now that we've got our sky painted, we're gonna work on our water down below.
It still is like super dark.
Yep, that's because you want to start with water. If you don't put water on first, then it will actually be dark. So if you start with the water, in fact, you know what? I think I want a little more water than I do sky. And I'm going to show you on my water. I'm going to leave just a little bit at the bottom because I want to put sand at the bottom. So I'm actually not going to put, I'm not going to put my paint all the way to the bottom. So we're just going to paint some waves, and we can go back through after you get your waves painted and your water painted and you do all your creatures. You can actually go back and add a few more darker colored waves if you'd like to. So we're going to focus now on, whoops, get this to stay up a little bit. There we go. We're going to focus on our water portion now. So I'm doing just a few dark waves, but I'm actually going to blend them all in with the water. Because again, we want the water to be really, really
blue,
really light colored. So we're going to paint all these creatures in the water. You won't be able to see them if your paint's too dark. So that's why it's really, really important to water your paper first and then add on your watercolors. And even afterwards, see how these kind of ended up a little bit darker up here? So even after, you still want to actually add lots and lots of water. And it's okay, like the top of my water, I actually want to be just a little bit darker because I won't put really anything jumping out of the water. You can actually have dolphins or something jumping out of the water, but I think I'm going to focus on doing creatures closer to the bottom so that there's easier to have a definitive line from my water and sky. There's a lot of fun creatures that live at the bottom, like the starfish and the octopus. Lots of fun creatures. So we've got our waves here. And see how I have it a little bit darker at the top, and it's getting lighter as it goes down to the bottom. And the fun thing too, especially with painting water, is that when you add water to your water portion, it really makes it look like real water, doesn't it? So you can kind of see all of the different specks here that really make it look like real water. So we're going to let that dry just a little bit, and we're going to put a branch, because I don't want all of my birds flying. I actually want some of my birds to be sitting on a branch in the sky. So I'm actually going to make a little branch up at the top too. So we'll use brown 2 times. So ooh, look how pretty that water looks. I like how the water turned out. So, and if your water's too, ooh, yeah, look at how pretty that sky is. She's got very pretty purple sky there. So if you don't like your sky, or your, if you don't like how if it's too dark, just keep adding water. And if you need to take a paper towel, you can dab it to also lighten it up. So, there, but actually that looks pretty. So I'm going to let that dry just a little bit. I think that's about the right color I want. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. Now I'm going to move back up to my water. Whoops. There it goes. I'm still trying to get used to this little thing here. All right, so we're going to go back up to the sky. And actually it feels pretty dry, but I'm just going to dab it just to make sure it's all the way dry. And in fact, in dabbing it, it's going to look kind of like clouds. See how it kind of looks like clouds when you dab it? And again, if your sky ended up too dark and you're saying, oh no, I painted too much, you just get it wet. And actually, if you dab it too, if you get it wet and dab it, it will get light again. So that's the nice thing about watercolors, is they're very forgiving. There's a lot of ways that you can actually kind of fix them.
And there you go. Perfect
drenched
sky.
Ooh, very nice. Look at that beautiful sky she
Drenched
had.
sky.
Yeah, very nice. So I'm going to add just a little bit. Oops, I think that was your sky one. I'm just going to add a little bit on my water because it was a little bit too wet. So I'm just going to add a few more of my little waves there. So that's going to let that kind of dry while we work on our branch now. So we're going to put a branch up in the sky. So as I'm drawing my branch, we're actually going to go down to do our sand too. So I still need some more ideas. So we've got an eagle, which that I think the eagle will put kind of flying higher in the sky. And if you have different size paintbrushes, you can use a thinner one to make your branch. And if you just have the one size, that works too. You'll just have a little bit of a thicker branch, that's all. So we're just gonna do just a slight little branch over for all those birds who wanna rest. Oh my, I'm sorry about that. I think it's a little too top heavy. It doesn't like being so forward.
If we get it like that, then that should be good. You just don't want to let it flip over like that.
Yeah. All right, so there's my little branch. So your branch is basically just a line across. I'm gonna give, see, and if you drop on it, if you just wipe it right up, then actually the watercolors will, again, they're very forgiving. So I'm gonna make my branch just a little bit thicker, not too thick.
I remember when I was younger, I used to get so upset when I made mistakes like that.
Right, and I would always tell her, don't worry, we can fix them.
Cook.
Oh yeah, a lot of blue. So there's often ways that if you mess up on your paper in art, or I should say if you feel like you mess up, because a lot of times mess ups are actually, that's just part of the process. But if you're really unhappy with something you did in your art project, there's a lot of ways that you can find to fix it or cover it up. And watercolors are one way that are definitely very forgiving. So there's my little branch. And I'm gonna move it down, and while that branch is drying, because that branch will take a little longer to dry, we're going to put some sand at the bottom. And again, I want a very, very light colored sand, so I'm only gonna put just a little bit of brown. So I'm actually just using the leftover brown from my branch, putting it there at the bottom, and then letting it, because there was already water on there from earlier. So I'm just gonna kind of fill in this space here. And see how when you make like the little squiggle lines like that, it kind of gives it, almost looks like real sand.
Good.
Yeah, so once we get this done, we're actually gonna start painting some fish. So I'm gonna start with that green fish that the Martinez family suggested. Does anybody have any other suggestions for some underwater creatures that we could paint? And we'll put some in the sand after the sand dries. But for right now, we're gonna just paint in the water. And we have our ceiling fan going too, because for one, it's really hot. It's gonna be like 93 degrees here in Michigan today. Although I know the Reeds are from Virginia, and I think the Martinez family said they were from Arizona, so I'm sure it's probably hotter where you guys are. But either way, it's a hot day today for sure. So we're gonna do it while we let that dry a little bit. We're gonna read in the Bible. Ooh, a pufferfish. That's a good one. I like that. So we're gonna read about day 5 as we kind of let that dry just a little bit. Oh, and a crab. I like that one. These are really good suggestions. I like painting crabs too. So on the 5th day, God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. Where's your thumbs up? It was good. And God blessed them, and saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. Ready for our part again? And the evening and the morning were the 5th day. Good. All right, now we're going to start working those underwater creatures. If I can get there we go. There we go. Now it won't topple over so much. All right, so we've got our underwater portion here. Let's start with that green fish that the Martinez family suggested. And then we'll move on. And then by then, the sand's looking pretty dry too, so we'll be able to get the sand going too. And what I'm gonna do is after everything's dry, I'm just gonna go over my waves one more time after everything's dry. So again, as you're painting these little creatures, I would definitely suggest using a smaller, like a thinner paintbrush, if you do have a thinner paintbrush, because it'll be easier to to control. A thicker one, you'll make thicker fish, which is okay. You can have thicker fish too. So we're going to make our darling little green fish. So we'll put our little green fish. I think I'm gonna put the little green fish right. I'm gonna have him facing, kind of swimming in from this side over here. So the
Maybe
fish
he
is.
could be leaping out.
Well, I did think about that, but I want to make sure that.
Like a tadpole.
I know it does look, and that's tadpoles, because they were underwater creatures. So tadpoles potentially could have been created on day 5, or they could have done. Guy could have just made the frogs too on day 6. So we just want to kind of make a oops, and see, as you can see how mine's kind of bleeding. So it must actually still be a little bit wetter there than I realized.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so it's a little bit
mud was
wet.
actually bleeding. So.
So we're just gonna you can make like an oval shaped fish. It's a cute little oval. And actually I'm gonna need to dry mine off because as you can see, you see how it's bleeding a little bit. So that kind of shows that it's not quite dry enough yet for a fish. So I'm gonna dab it and try again. Because like I said, the watercolors are very forgiving. So if you mess up, and since we wanted the green there anyway, I'm just gonna follow along. So now that it's drier there, we're gonna paint an oval. And another fun thing you can do after everything dries, if you want, you can actually give things Google eyes too. And then the little tail is just like a little curve up, a little curve down. And you can give them just a couple little fins on top. Actually, you know, I think I'm gonna give them lighter green fins on top. So I'm gonna do just a little bit of the light green. So it'll be like a little dark green fish, but we'll do some lighter green. A few little fins at the bottom. And I wonder, does anybody have any pet fish at home? And there's a few little lines at the top too. Cute. So there's my little green fish. Now I'm gonna go for the puffer fish. Those are kind of like a brownish color. So we're gonna have this little puffer fish all puffed up. Although, you know what? I think I kind of want to make mine a little bit orange too. So I'm gonna kind of go over it with the brown and then make some orange spikes on it. So the puffer fish, I'm gonna make it all puffed up. So I'm gonna make a nice circle here. And then the other funny thing about the puffer fish is their lips, how big their lips are. So we're gonna give this puffer fish some big lips here. Ooh, and a sea turtle. Yes, I love doing turtles too. Turtles were I went through a little turtle phase, and we collected turtles for a while. So there's the big puffer fish lips.
Collected real turtles?
No, not real ones, like figurines and stuff. So here is my puffer fish. I'm going to color it in just a little bit and give him his tail. We'll give him a bigger tail since his lips are so big. We'll give him a bigger tail.
Trista thought his lips were the tail.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I'll make it a really big tail. There. So now our puffer fish needs its spikes. So I'm going to give it some orange spikes.
Some people actually eat puffer fish. It's really gross.
They do.
Though.
Where was that we learned that they do that? But yeah, it's a delicacy in another country. We were learning a lot about some different countries. But we learned so much at the same time that sometimes it's hard to remember which country was which. All right, so I'm going to do just a little bit of orange on here. Give my puffer fish its orange spikes everywhere. So it'll kind of pull a little bit of the brown. So look at all these spikes. This is a dangerous puffer fish right here. And in the end, again, yeah, you can use googly eyes for the creatures, or you can just use a permanent marker and dot at that.
So I got my tree, and then I'm going to make a branch.
Oh, and the reeds used to have fish. What kind of fish did you guys used to have? I had a goldfish when I was a kid, but since then I have not had any fish at all. And Alexis, we haven't gotten any for Alexis either. So there's my cute little puffer fish. Aw. So now, let me check the bottom here. Let's see if this is the sand. Oh yeah, I think actually the sand is dry enough. So I'll move my paper up. And I think the sand's dry enough, we can go ahead and make our crab. I like little crabbies, they're cute. And again, I'm using my thin paintbrush for all of these creatures. Just because it's just easier to control it with a thinner paintbrush. Was this the one I had before?
Beta.
A beta fish. Remember, we were learning about, we were actually looking into getting a beta fish. So we like to research things. So we got a bunch of books from the library. And we learned a lot about the betta fish. They're amazing creatures, and they're so beautiful. So a betta fish,
so
that would be a
here's my
pretty
branch.
thing. So I'm going to put my crab, I think, on this side. So that way if I need to paint more, I won't put my hand in it. So I'm going to put my little crab. He's going to start off with an oval here. So I'm going to make a little oval down there. It looks like I need a little bit more wet on my paintbrush. Oh, an octopus. Yes. That'd be another good thing for on the... That's what I thought. I'd start my crab over here so I'd have room for... And I definitely want to do some starfish too. See, I actually have a little starfish on my bracelet here. So here we're going to paint in like a... almost like an egg shape, actually. So it's not quite a full oval and it's not quite a circle. Because I always think of ovals as being a little longer. But it's technically an oval still. So we're going to do an oval. And get just a little more paint. And as you're painting these creatures, the other thing is you actually don't want your paintbrush that wet. If it's too wet, it's going to bleed over just like the water is. So our little crab, we're going to put 2 little lines popping up and 2 little circles up here. Aw, like little Sebastian. Ooh, and a jellyfish. That's another good one. And we're going to have a whole ocean full of creatures here. And then the crabs, they have the 2 larger front claws. See, and you can see now my paintbrush is actually getting a little too dry. See how it's too dry? So then I'll add just a little bit of water. But again, I don't want to add too much water. I just add a little tiny bit so that it doesn't get too wet. So we're going to do the 2 larger claws up here. And then we'll give him a couple of his little claws in the back, like his little, I should say his legs. So we'll give him just a couple. We can only fit like 3 there. There, we can fit all 3 of his little legs. So here's all his little legs. Aww. And then after he dries, we can give him some eyes and a little mouth in the front. So there's our cute little crab. Let's put our octopus in the middle. Ooh, a pink and green betta fish. That would be really pretty. And the betta fish are one of the fish that actually can live in a fishbowl. Most fish can't really survive in a fishbowl, but betta fish are really the only ones that can. All right, now let's do our octopus. I think I'm going to do a purple octopus. I like making... Oh, and here Alexis kind of brought out some of our ocean things we have. We have actually a little dried crab. We love discovering. My grandma and my aunt and uncle live down in Florida, so we go down there often. We like to collect stuff. Yep, and there's the crab claw and a pretty sand dollar. So we like collecting stuff on the beach, and some coral and another seashell. So we've got lots of seashells too. And that's another fun thing is we've actually done paintings too where we actually just glue the seashells on. We'll paint just the sand.
And also starfish.
Mm-hmm, and a starfish too. So I gotta see if I can get this back where it was. Okay, so I have to move it up a little bit.
You could face it down from
I know, that's okay. Okay, now we're gonna do our octopus in the middle. So here we have an octopus. I like doing a purple octopus, even though they're a little more of a, I guess, an orangish, reddish kind of color in real life, but. All right, so the octopus is going to start with an oblong head, so kind of like an oval head. And again, you don't want your paintbrush too wet. You want it fairly dry.
Basically, this right here is basically kind of like an island.
Oh yeah, that's nice. So I don't know if we'll be able to fit all 8 legs on our little octopus, but we'll try. They had a pink and green betta fish. Isn't that cool? So there's 1, 2, 3. Oops, see now it's starting to get dry, so I got to add just a drop of water to the paint before I get it. There's 1, 2.
Under the sea.
Yeah, they're definitely. This is like, yeah, like So there's 4. Let's see if do you think I can fit all 8 legs?
Yeah, sure. You just have to get some on the top.
I'll do one here. So there's 5, and then you'll have to put a couple in the background. 6.
And then you can put 7 there, and then
What do you think I should put 8?
8 here.
Kind of behind there. Oh, it looks like I did get all 8 legs. So there's my 8-legged octopus. And again, I'll give him some eyes after he dries. And what was and the starfish. That was the other ocean floor creature that we want to do. So starfish are fairly easy too, because if you know how to draw
a
star, yep, you're just kind of doing that. So what color should my starfish be?
Maybe it could be do you have white paint? It could be a white one.
Well, white won't show up too well on the.
Then maybe
I kind of want to do
orange.
A pinkish color.
Or pink.
Yep. So I think I'll have to add. Again, I have to get a little of my white. Let's see if I can. Let's see this. So your starfish, you're just going to kind of paint just as how you would write it, and that is starting with like a letter A, and then one line up, and then a line over, and then a line connecting. And there's our cute little starfish.
And here is a real starfish.
Mm-hmm. Look at that. We had some coconuts. Yeah, if coconuts would have been a good one for on day 3 too. We could have made a palm tree with coconuts.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite foods is coconut. So there's our little starfish, and we're gonna put just a little seaweed in the corner too. Even though the seaweed was actually made on day 3.
Because of the plants.
Right. But it was there, so we're gonna add on a little bit of seaweed here. Just in the corner over here, I'm gonna put some seaweed. And I love seahorses too, but they're really hard to paint, especially if you're painting them little. I have to paint them bigger. So we're just gonna do a couple little swirlies in the corner here for some seaweed. And let's see if we get all of our, a jellyfish. We still need to do the jellyfish and a turtle. So we'll do our jellyfish and our turtle. And since I have green paint already on here, let's do our turtle next. So the turtle's gonna swim here.
Like, it could be maybe a light green. Yeah, light green. That's good.
Well, yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll do the outline in the dark green, and then I'll put some light green swirls in.
You could put those 2 light green, and then like the boxes that has in the shell, those could also be dark green too.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna do just more of a circle, but a little bit of a slightly oval-shaped circle. And then here's a sweet little head up here. And we did something about learning the difference between the sea turtles and the land turtles. Do you remember much about that, Alexis?
Land turtles, I think, the land turtles couldn't hear that well, and the sea turtles can hear very well.
Mm-hmm. And what about as far as going inside their shells? Who does what?
Oh yes, basically the land turtles, they can put their heads inside their shells. Sea turtles can't.
Right, so sea turtles actually cannot go inside their shells like the land turtles can. So yeah, we had a lot of fun learning about the sea turtles and land turtles and the difference of the two. So there's our 2 little flippers, and then he'll have his 2 back flippers here. And a cute little tail. And then I'm going to use just a little bit, I'm going to do a little bit of lines with my dark green. Or you know what I could do? I'm going to kind of make like a little bit of a shell back here. So if you start like with a square, you kind of make your way around with it. It'll look like a little turtle shell. And then we'll add just a little bit of the light green to his shell. There we go. Just a few little light green dots. And then again, you can put lots of layers on your watercolor. So we find that a lot of times after we're done letting it dry, we'll go back through and just do a few, go over some of the outlines. Like I'll probably go over the top wave again to make it a little stronger. Okay, now let's do our jellyfish. I think I'm gonna do like a dark bluish, like an indigo jellyfish. Jellyfish are really cool creatures too. And they're actually pretty easy. So they have their head.
Their bellicone thing.
Their bell, yep. So it's like a bell. And then they have both tentacles and arms. You remember hearing about that?
Oh, yeah.
So like the tentacles were thinner and the arms were the larger ones. So let's do some larger arms. Kind of swirling down.
Oh, that's a big jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
You should do a seahorse.
Well, yeah, I had mentioned the seahorse because I really like the seahorse, but they're harder to draw.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some arms. And then in the center, they have their little tentacles. That's what actually has the poison that will paralyze the fish. So put just a couple of those in the middle. And I'm going to add just a little bit of
mermaids actually
purple on it.
wear jellyfish's hats.
Oh, that would be a good hat. So there we go. There's our cute, yeah, he's kind of a little bit of a wide jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably should have made it a little bit more of like a half.
Under the sea,
I should have had a
sea.
There. He needed to be a little bit more of like a half bowl, like an upside down bowl. So there's our little jellyfish. So there's our underwater part of it. And now the sky is definitely plenty dry for us to put a few birds. So my eagle, I'm going to have my eagle soaring really high in my sky. So does anybody else have any birds that they can think of that we can put on our branch or flying in the sky? So I'm going to make my eagle flying high in the sky. He's going to be so high, yes, you won't even be able to see his little red head. Oop, that one's green, not black. So we're going to make him far, far away. Actually, and we're going to put him, I think I'm going to put him in the right corner because he's going to be so far away. So we have our eagle. A fast slow. I'm not sure I know what that is, Reeds. A fast slow? I'm not sure if that's a fish or bird. Have you heard of a fast slow? You'll have to probably explain that one to me. I don't think I know a fast slow. So here's my eagle. We're just going to kind of make like a looped V for our eagle. There we go. So there's our little eagle flying way high in the distance.
I'm pretty sure it's some sort of type of a crab.
Oh, maybe. So Alexis is thinking maybe it's a kind of crab. So let's figure out what kind of birdies we should do. Anybody have any suggestions for birdies? I'm going to do a sweet little bluebird up here. I love flamingos too. I'm trying to think of where I could put my poor little flamingo. I guess my flamingo could be popping over here. Well, actually, we don't have a very good pink paint, do we? That's the one thing about this watercolor.
Wait! I have a good idea. You could mix that dark purple with the white.
Yep. Or what if I did a whole little set of like rainbow tropical birds, like parakeets and such? Let's try that. I think I'm going to do a whole row of like of rainbow birds.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm going to put my little yellow bird. So to make just a basic bird, oh, and seagulls too, that's a good idea. We'll put some seagulls flying closer to the shore too. So I think I'm going to put my little yellow bird in the middle. So a birdie, this kind of has like a cute little oval body. And has a little rounded head. So it almost starts off looking like a snowman, doesn't it? And then we're going to go through and give them all a beak. So there's my yellow birdie. We'll make an orange birdie on our branch. There's all sorts of tropical birds that I don't even know the names of them all. There's a lot of tropical. So these are going to be my little tropical birds here.
And make a red one too.
So since I have the orange, I'll give them both their little beaks right now. So there's my little orange beak. We'll have the orange and the yellow one talking to each other. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Oh, aren't they cute? And then, again, when they dry, I'm going to go back through and give them all little eyes. And then I'll go down the row and give them all their little feet, too, hanging on. So now I'm going to make a cute little red. This one could be a macaw or a parrot. It'll be a little smaller though. So here's my red one. There's a lot of red birds, aren't there? There's cardinals. We have a lot of cardinals here. And birds come in just the most beautiful colors. And does anybody know, does the boy have brighter colors, or does the female bird? Is it the male or the female?
It's the boy.
Is it the boy? Can you tell us why? Why does the boy have brighter colors?
Because he's the one going out for the food.
Yep.
And then the mother has darker colors, but she needs to camouflage in the nest.
Right, so the mommies are usually brownish or dark colors, so they can camouflage in their nests, and the males have the brighter colors so they can attract the females. So that's cool how so much of God's creation, he put a lot of thought into making all these different creatures, and even how the males are brighter color than the females. And so much of God's creation, he put so much thought and so much work into it. Oh, and now the bluebird. There's definitely a lot of different bluebirds. Bluebirds are probably one of my favorites. We actually have, often we have bluebirds nesting outside our window. Well, this bluebird's a little bit taller. This one's more of a parrot.
Insane!
Yeah. So this one, I'm going to have it kind of like have its wing out a little bit. And this one's going to be facing forward with his little wings. Kind of looks a little like a penguin, doesn't it? All right, and then we'll put some purple. Oh, no, that one's blue too.
That one's the purple.
There we go. So now we got our little, so we'll have our whole little rainbow set of birds here. We'll do the purple one a little bit smaller. And then I want to put the purple one's wings are going to be kind of out a little bit.
Like she's ready to fly.
Yeah. So there, we're going to put the purple one's wings out, because she's ready to fly. There. So there's our little wings. So then now to make their little claws, you're just basically making 3 little lines to make their feet. So since our branch is already dry, it wouldn't work. If the branch was still wet, this wouldn't work very well. I'm going to get a little bit closer to show you. So now to do their little feet, you're just going to do 3 lines. 1, 2, 3 on either side. 1, 2, 3. Get a little more paint. And even still, this paintbrush, if you have a really, really little one, would even be better. This one's even a little bit too big for their feet. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Get a little more paint. And we'll go 1, 2. This one we'll just do 1, 2. And just like, yeah, little ducks. We could even do a little duck on the water. I think we'll let everyone kind of finish them at home, because it's getting a little bit later. This one's a little longer, making all these adorable little creatures.
It's like 11:44. We might as well make it 1 hour. We might as well.
So yeah, we'll let you make some of your little creatures at home, and then we can share our artwork with everybody. So there's how you do their little legs. And then their beaks are fairly simple too. If you want, like, you can do like a front-facing beak, like on this one. Let me get it a little bit. Let me flatten my paintbrush a little bit.
If you want.
So this one, if you want to make a beak facing forward, you would just do a line, just like an upside-down triangle. It doesn't show up a lot, but I think this guy's going to talk to this guy over here. And then, no, this one's going to be facing forward. And this one's squawking at them over here, because she's like, I'm ready to go. So there's our little birdies. And actually, seagulls are very same way you paint the same way you'll paint the eagle in the background. As the seagulls are very much that way too, where they just, I'm gonna make them gray though. So the seagulls are just kind of a little loop in a loop. So let's put the seagulls kind of over here. So seagulls like to go in pairs and stuff like that. So there we got our 2 little seagulls there, and then I'm going to make a little duck here. I guess I could probably do that. It won't take me too long to
Hallie
show everybody a
likes
duck.
chasing the seagulls.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a cute little duck over here. So a little duck will just have, although there, we'll have his little circle head, and then you just kind of scoop it like a big happy face. We'll give him a few little tail feathers at the bottom. I'll have to make him a little bit bigger so he connects to the water. And then what I'll do is I'll also, when I redo my wave, I'll make the wave connect to him so he's not floating above the wave. Yeah, the duck
That would be weird.
Yeah, the ducks definitely do not float. Well, I mean, they can fly above the wave, but we're gonna, and I'll also, after he dries, I'll give him a little wing on this side too. I'll make his head a little bit bigger.
You could draw a shark. I'm just kidding.
You could, yeah. I mean, you could put a shark in the water. There's so many more creatures
Sharks are bad. No, I'm just kidding.
There's so many creatures that God made on day 5. You could spend a whole year probably. So we're gonna make this duck talking too. So if you want them talking, you open their beaks like that. If not, you just make like a triangle beak. So we're gonna let him dry and I'll fix the waves. Well, there we have our fowls of the air and the fish of the sea on day number 5. So we'll finish ours up and do kind of the last touches. So again, after they all dry, you can give them eyes. You can use Google Eyes if you want to too. You could actually even sprinkle on a little bit of real sand if you wanted to glue it on there. You can put glitter anywhere. So there's a lot of things you can add to it after it dries. But again, you have to let it dry with the watercolor. So we have a friend who wants to say hello to us. We have a new friend to share with everybody today.
Look, a new friend.
Oh, a new friend. Come on out, new friend.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
The heavens and the earth. Oh, hi, Quackers. It's so good to see you. And this is a perfect day for Quackers to join us. Why? Tell them, Quackers.
Because God made me on day 5.
Oh, yay! Day 5 is my favorite. I love the birds and the creatures of the ocean and the octopus and the starfish and the whales. Oh, they're all my favorite. I love them. I love them. I love them. Chippy, they're always your favorite. I know. I'm wondering, with everybody watching at home, what was your favorite creature today? Millie, what was your favorite creature?
I like the crabs.
Oh, the crabs. And I love to eat crabs too. Yum, yum. What about you, Chippy Chipmunk? What was your favorite animal? I really like owls. Owls are so cute and they hoot hoot. I like the owls.
Me too.
What about you, Quackers? What was your favorite animal?
I like the ducks.
Oh, I figured so. Well, I really like all the animals. Me too. They're all my favorite.
Me too.
Thanks for sharing day 5 with us. Bye. Bye. See you tomorrow. Well, bye, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing day 5 with us, with the birds and all the other fowl and the creatures of the sea. We have one more day tomorrow that we'll do day 6 and day 7.
And keep your eyes open for the next teacher.
Yep, we'll have a new puppet friend. She's our special guest tomorrow, right? But thanks for joining us, and we'll post when we finish up our papers, we'll post them, and we could love to see yours too. Bye, everybody.